Here's the deal. I cannot wait to disagree with myself in a few years, and maybe in a few months, and maybe literally after I'm done with this video, I'm gonna think of something that I said and I'm gonna be like, holy shit, I was very wrong. Maybe I wasn't very wrong, or maybe my information about that thing was not complete, so I made an assumption that was partially incorrect, right? And then I dig into that a little bit more, and then I realized that my assumption was probably totally wrong. Now, why is that? Our brains just want to save energy. You don't want to think about anything that's happening and everything that's happening, and you don't want to gather data on pretty much everything that you've heard about. You don't want to double check. Like, that's just so exhausting. So your brain is just going to be like, hey, I'm just going to make assumptions. I'm just going to generalize. This bias that everybody has, like, it's just for your brain tries to save energy. We're looking at patterns and we're just generalizing. Example, you go, for example, in another country and you don't have a very pleasant experience. And you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to that country. And you just say, all the people in that country are very unpleasant. I've had terrible experience. Or you book a terrible Airbnb. You're just going to generalize and you're going to be like, I am never using Airbnb again. You just generalized. You don't get it. You just generalized. There are beautiful Airbnbs. I always stay in Airbnbs. But even if I have, well, maybe I had a bad experience with booking and maybe that's why I'm not using it. See, I generalized. I was like, you know what? I'm not using that service anymore. Even though everything is like, they're not the owners of everything. Or you just have one bad experience with a certain nationality. I see this all the time, especially in the place where I live. Lots of politics, and don't get me started on that. But they're like, oh my God, all those people from that nationality, they're just looking to rip you off and whatever. And I'm like, what? That was just that person that you had a bad experience. There are good people and there are bad people everywhere. It's not like, oh, you're now this and this nationality. I'm avoiding to say any nationality because everybody's going to get triggered. But this is how we think. This is how we operate. We generalize. We save power because our brain needs energy for more important things, like two things: survival and reproduction. Everything comes down to those two things, survival and reproduction. What is going to help me survive, which means food, shelter, running away from danger, and what is going to help me reproduce, right? So everything, all your behavior kind of is like linked to those two primal instincts, foundational powers. I don't know how to explain them, but that's how much I know. I don't know much more than that, but I do know that every one of our behaviors and every one of even the not so productive things that we do, like making assumptions, jumping to conclusions, are just there to save us power, just so that you can survive and reproduce. Because if we stop and think and analyze and everything that we encounter, it's so exhausting. We're not going to be able to survive or reproduce, like, at all. So, bye.